My name is Cody Rants, and today I will be discussing the brand Lunarskies Cosmetics and the recent allegations against their company being called a scam. I will show you screenshots from conversations and DMs with customers of theirs and various other information I have gathered from social media. I've also talked to the brand owner. I will be sharing that information in this video as well, so please make sure to stick around for that. To begin, let me give you a brief history on Lunarskies Cosmetics. The company began in July 2019 on Twitter, and the website was created August 8, 2019. Lunarskies sells a variety of makeup products and announced via social media their interest in selling crystals. Their controversy began with the launch of their palette titled Have Your Cake, which was available for pre-sale on September 19, 2020. Many customers complained online about their wait time for the palette and their PR kits. On an Instagram post dated for August 8, 2020, you can see Lunarskies advertising the PR kits. The Have Your Cake PR kit marked for $50 and the Have Your Cake Ultra PR kit for $69. LOL 69. In the post, you can see what is included in the PR kits if you are interested. Lunarskies posted on Instagram on August 14, 2020 and announced that the pre-sale of the Have Your Cake palette was going to be on September 19, 2020 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In a turn of events, Lunarskies then posted on August 29, 2020 that the Have Your Cake palette would be available that day for pre-sale at 3 p.m. for $35. On September 17, 2020, Lunarskies posted that had really affected her business. She was having trouble shipping items and had to allegedly refund hundreds of shipping orders. She then claimed she is in the hole thousands of dollars and might need to shut down. To be honest, you knew the state of the world we were in, Lunarskies, so I don't really have any sympathy for you. You knew that times were hard right now and that shipping can be delayed due to making sure people stay safe. What I found really interesting was on September 21st, 2020, after Lunarskies went on social media to complain about having trouble shipping orders and having to refund customers, did a 50% off sale, all because Manium UA noticed them. If you knew you were having trouble shipping orders, why were you keeping your site open to receive more orders? That makes no sense. On October 2nd, 2020, Lunarskies posted an update about the Have Your Cake palette that said she had 1,000 finished cake palettes, but after a final test, they failed her standards. Because of that mistake, the palettes were in reproduction, and she promised to have them ready that month in October. On October 15th, 2020, Lunarskies posted an update on the Have Your Cake palette and said that the production, I think she means reproduction, would be over in a few days, and she was aiming to have the palette shipped out that month or early November. On November 9, 2020, Lunarskies announced on Instagram that the palettes had been shipped to her. She also said that all the packages would be sent out and finished that week. We all know that didn't happen because I wouldn't have to make this video if they did. While doing my research on this company, I found a post by a user named Keely's Beauty on Twitter who shared some information about another previous failed launch of a palette that I thought I would share with you. In the post, they detail how in April, Lunarskies launched another palette called Anime Dreams. The palettes were supposed to go out in May. Allegedly, Lunarskies oversold their pre-order. On June 5th, Lunarskies announced that they would be sending out the remaining orders. Due to the state of the world, with it being very fresh at the time, I could understand there being delays. You would think Lunarskies would have learned for the first time from the mess with Anime Dreams, but apparently not. On November 18, 2020, Lunarskies posted on Instagram that she was still waiting on the palettes and says she cannot do refunds because all sales are final as she listed on her site. But I don't think she understands that even if you list that, if the customer does not receive their item, you still have to refund them. That's the law. Ask any lawyer. There were several posts on November 19th on Twitter, and when she talks about how she used the money from pre-orders to buy the palettes, which is not what you are supposed to do. It's not good business practice. What you should do is use your own money to buy the palettes and then reimburse yourself using the money from the pre-orders once you ship out the client's order. Embarrassing that I have to tell her how to run a small business. Next, she complains about not being able to afford groceries and not having money to refund people, which again, that's because, in my opinion, she is terrible at handling money. On the same day, she also posted a tweet that said she used the money from the pre-sale to fund the palette and that the palette was made differently than her sample. She then says again how the palette wasn't up to her standards, and so she scrapped it. In reply to Keely's post that I showed you earlier, Lunarskies said that she projected 250 people to get the April release palette, aka Anime Dreams, and that the projection was wrong. Then does agree she didn't want to do another pre-sale, but she needed the funds to buy the palette. Then says the reason she hasn't updated everyone on Twitter is because she claims nobody has sent her questions on there and assumed people were using Instagram because she is an Instagram-based brand. She also says in another tweet that she asked her dad and fiance for money to try to move things faster, but a production team told her that there was nothing she could do. The next time we hear from her is on December 20, 2020. She announces that she will no longer be making any more cosmetic products and that she will be opening a crystal shop. Then she says once all the cake palette pre-orders are shipped, she will be running a sale on all the remaining stock she has. She also announces on December 20th that the cake palettes were on the move to her and would arrive on December 31st. On December 21st, she says she is hiring help to pack her palettes. Confused how she could afford that when she was just complaining about not being able to buy groceries or refund people. She also says that she doesn't want people to think that moving to crystals was to distract from the pre-order. It is just something that she was interested in, and she has help from a private investor. Then claims she isn't making a profit on the cake palette. She then posts on the same day saying she'll be sending everyone an extra palette, I'm guessing due to the long wait time. I'm really confused how she's able to afford that, but it does seem like a nice gesture. On December 21st, she also claimed she didn't do the emails, which I think means send email updates because she couldn't afford it. I understand that because emailing people is free. There are plenty of sites like Yahoo and Google who offer free emailing. That doesn't make sense. Pretty sure you're lying here. My friend Allie, also known as Truth Sleuth, also sent me some screenshots relating to Lunarskies. In one of them, you can see someone with the username the1989_ saying that they had to on Twitter to get a refund. Lunarskies then replied and said, "You never asked for a refund before now, which is why I'm giving you one. You didn't have to be a on Twitter to get one." Allie then went back and forth with the owner, calling them out on their unprofessional behavior towards customers. First rule in customer service is to treat the customers with respect. The way Lunarskies replied to that customer was wrong, no matter how she tries to justify it. We hear from Lunarskies again on January 13th, 2021 on Instagram when she informs everyone she is the only one who runs Lunarskies and it will take her time to get orders packed. I thought you were hiring help, or was that a lie? On February 9th, 2021, Lunarskies then posts that all orders will be out Sunday on Twitter, and updates will be on Instagram. She also says that she is blocking people who have no outstanding orders because they are bad for her mental health. So instead of listening to criticisms, you have decided to ignore them. That is a really bad way to handle your business, but that's none of my business. I also noticed that she did retweet a shady tweet defending her. If you can't handle criticism, darling, then maybe the internet is not for you. On February 10, Lunarskies did post a photo showing her sending packages to be delivered, which is good. Lunarskies then heard about this video being made and decided to DM me on February 10th. I will now read what she said to me. She starts with saying, "Hi there, I saw your tweets about me and figured I would try to tell you my piece for what it's worth. The Have Your Cake Palettes launch was supposed to be my biggest launch to date. It went well and we sold quite literally thousands of palettes. For this product, we found a new supplier who was able to help me create some of the best formulas I have ever introduced in my products. My initial timeline was going to go on without a hitch. Then the supplier let me know they had to remake the entire order for a production error, which I quickly identified in the quality control samples they sent me. This pushed back the actual ship out dates nearly another month and a half to 2 months. I was told shipping by sea, international supplier, would take around 10 days, and ended up taking a month, which again pushed back the actual ship dates even more drastically. I tried to be as transparent as possible with the pushbacks, though I admit that not emailing updates and only doing updates via my Instagram is completely my fault. I didn't make a penny off of this release as it was all put towards production costs and getting a large shipment of pallets to fulfill the pre-orders, as well as expand further with carrying it as an everyday product on my site. I did my best to respond to inquiries and resolve what I could, but at the end of the day, I'm just a 21-year-old trying to not only make a living, but also build myself as an individual and professional. I have a lot to learn. I am not perfect and could have handled this situation differently. I did try to make up for it by including an extra pallet in each order. As of today, 2/10, we have approximately 130 orders to be shipped, which should all be out by Friday at the latest. For some saying their tracking didn't update, they can email us and we can figure it out. Though we have had many tracking numbers not show a single scan until they were marked as delivered. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. I just want to reach out and at least say my piece and make amends with the closing down of business. I then asked Lunarskies why she was spending people's money before she sent them their order, and she explained how she used the money to buy their pre-orders. I told her how she should only spend the customer's money after she has sent the customer their product. She says she is still young and is still learning. Then blames the issues on the manufacturer, even though this all happened because she did things in the wrong order, let's be real. Then she says that's how a lot of small businesses get funds to create products, and I tell her that way of running a business is terrible. I then ask her why she's threatening to sue people for defamation, and then I ask if it's just because people are tweeting about her, and then I tell her if people are just sharing their opinions, that is not defamation. She replies and says that she didn't threaten to sue anyone and spoke about sending cease and desist letters to certain individuals that she cannot name. She then says that there is some sort of thread about people placing chargebacks even though they received their product, which she provides no proof of. She then says that it's slander. She has proof and has a good case. Technically, if people are placing chargebacks, the cases get investigated before a chargeback is issued, so the story does not make sense. And slander is also very hard to prove, and since she is in debt, as she claimed in an earlier post, I have no idea how she could afford a lawyer to sue these alleged people. I then sent her a screenshot from her Instagram story that says, had a great talk with the lawyer a few days ago about all the defamation of character that's going on. Literally have to call them yet again to add to the list. And then asked her to explain it. She then says that's all she can really say about the topic legally, and I suggest that she speaks to an attorney about legal definitions. I then spoke to my friend who owns Ferocious Beauty Cosmetics about this situation, and she gave me some very helpful information. I'm going to read the DM she sent me since she gave me permission to share them. In the first DM she says, okay, so something is a lie. She either didn't formulate or she's lying about how much money she has. She would have had to pay an obscene amount of money up front for lab fees, R&D, biotesting, quality control, etc. Then she would have had to pay chemist fees, formulation fees, design fees, and more that goes along with actual formulation. On top of that, she would have had to pay for upfront thousands of pallets. For private label companies who do fully custom projects, the minimum is smaller, like 1,000. So say she did fully customize this, and given the packaging, it's possible. So we will say she did here. That means she paid all of that and paid upfront for those pallets. They were $10 each to produce for 1,000, just using general numbers. That's $10,000 she spent on product alone upfront. Now she charged $30 for them. So for 1,000 pallets, that's $30,000 she made. $10,000 goes to pay back what she spent, typically to order new product, and $20,000 profit, which then breaks down into however she has her business model set up. That means that all the pre-orders done was money in pocket, meaning that she had the money for refunds the whole time. Or possibly too, she never formulated anything. Therefore, it's fully private label, and the palette is also plain enough it could be 100% be private label. This means no extra fees like R&D and testing and formulation, because the lab / manufacturer already have all that done. So all you pay is design fees, as long as you're honest and design it yourself. Taxes, huge shipping fees, and of course product fees. But you can order product much faster this way, and it's much cheaper. So now you only have to order 100 or so. And if you do a pre-order, you can use those numbers to order the product because it'll be done so quickly. So if you set up a pre-order and sell 1,000, you make 30,000, and you send in an order for 1,000 pallets and pay 10,000 for it, plus the design fees, naming fees, and a couple other little things. Comes out to a few hundred. And then shipping. And shipping on that much, if it's an overseas manufacturer, will be probably $3,000. No lie. That shit's expensive. But if it's domestic, I honestly couldn't say. She either lied about having all that money, or she lied about formulation because design takes a month to 2 months, and you have to pay upfront before they will design anything for you. So I still think she's lying all around. Also, I will add that if the manufacturer error is true, the timeline she mentioned seems kind of accurate, except no overseas business ships anything by ship and says it takes 10 days. Anyone shipping internationally says 3 weeks minimum. Either way, when you place an order, you pay for it up front. So if she indeed used the pre-order money to pay for the pallet, this is far worse, because it means she had someone design that pallet, or she did it herself, and then didn't even start the ordering process or the design process with the manufacturer until the pre-order was done, which is so far beyond ridiculous and irresponsible, I can't even process it. There are 2 design periods. What you personally commission, which just takes a few days generally, and then again when the manufacturer gets a hold of it to make it work / fit for the pallet. The manufacturer bit can take up to a month or longer to do. So if she paid only using the pre-order money, that meant she had a digital mock-up and hadn't even ordered anything from the manufacturer. So nothing was in production, because when you order order, they charge you no less than 50%. On thousands of pallets, we'll say 3,000 since it sounded like more than 2K. $10-ish times 3,000 pallets is 30,000. 50% is 15,000 up front, straight out of pocket. So that means before she even started, she would have to have $15,000 on hand. No loans, because if she's starving, I doubt she can get loans. No handouts. Because again, if you can borrow $15,000, your friends aren't letting you starve, so that doesn't seem accurate. I had $10 to start because I flipped 2 houses to get it. If she had that kind of money lying around, she isn't unable to buy groceries now. Especially on a large order. They will charge 50 to 100%. And while I won't say she did this, I will say the timeline adds up. Not only the timeline, but the inability of her to have that kind of cash on hand, but now mysteriously be broke, especially at 21 years old. What 21-year-old who isn't from money has $15,000 just lying around, or the credit to get a business loan for that much? So, to me, I feel like she started the pre-order with the digital mock-up, which also matches up because the online photos had Lunarskies or whatever as every shade name, and never even placed an order until the pre-order was done to bring in the money. That would constitute a 6 to 8 week manufacturer design process and a longer shipping time. So I guess this is a third option. Any of the 3 are straight screwy though, for sure. All of these are possible and all of them have holes because the lies all feed into one another. So it's hard to say what actually happened. On February 11, 2021, Lunarskies posted on Twitter and said, "All packages have been packed up. Everyone should have a tracking number by now. We will be dropping them off tonight and tomorrow. Please give it time to update. Monday will be the mail holiday. Thank you for your patience." On February 14, 2021, Lunarskies posted on Instagram and said, "Hi everyone, I wanted to make a post because I've been getting a lot of accusations that I'm not shipping orders when that's far from the truth. I wouldn't spend thousands of my own money to print all the labels and then sit on thousands of products in my possession. It makes no sense. I want everyone to get their products. I've never once had a customer not get their product. What makes this pre-sale different? USPS has been having issues and my post office is the worst. Once it is out of my possession, there isn't much I can do. The packages are coming." In the next part of this video, I will be sharing customer stories with Lunarskies. A customer contacted me about their damaged pallet they received from Lunarskies back in 2019. They told me how Lunarskies blocked them after they started tagging T channels during all the recent drama. She showed me images of the pallet that was damaged. She didn't end up getting a refund for her pallet back in 2019. I'm sharing this because I think it's strange that a brand would block someone who is just tagging channels to cover the story, especially when they are a customer. Next, we have a story from Stephanie, who ordered from Lunarskies. They contacted Lunarskies in November after waiting months for their pallet. Lunarskies told them they were waiting on the pallets. Stephanie did end up receiving their order in February, and they sent me a sample of swatches. Now let's talk about the 1989 underscore who we talked about earlier. If you recall, they said they never got a refund and never got their order. Lunarskies then said they were giving a refund on December 21st, 2020, after stating that the 1989 underscore never asked for one before. But I had the DMs and it looks like that is not true. On December 14th, Lunarskies said they would send them a refund if she didn't send out a replacement in the next few days. After a week, they messaged her again because they had not received anything. Lunarskies then said she broke her laptop charger, so that's why she couldn't print any labels. Seems like just a bunch of excuses to me. There's no reason they could not at least refund the customer or communicate with them with updates on her order. Why does she always make the customer have to reach out to her? That's not professional at all. I also want to show you guys this email showing Keely, who we also talked about earlier, and how they tried to contact Lunarskies about their order. They asked for a refund due to the long wait time after repeatedly being ignored when asking about the status of their order. There is no excuse for the lack of communication with customers because we know Lunarskies was online and active. If you run a business, it is important to contact clients about their orders and if you have issues to inform them. I hope she learned valuable lessons during the second failed launch and does better in the future. Keely did end up receiving her Ultra PR kit recently, just so you guys know. I'm glad to hear that customers are finally getting their packages after their long wait. Lastly, I want to talk about Ferocious Beauty and her order with Lunarskies. She ordered her palette in September and just recently received her palette in February. After receiving her order, she also found out that she was blocked by Lunarskies. She seems to really like to block customers who speak out against her bad business practices, huh? I also did a couple polls on Twitter about Lunarskies. In the first one, I asked people what they thought of the recent palette called Have Your Cake. 115 people voted. 32.2% said it looks great. 48.7% said it was just okay. And 19.1% said they didn't like it. I asked people who had only received an order for the Have Your Cake palette to vote in this poll to ask if they received their extra palette they were promised. I cannot confirm that everyone who voted in this had an order, so please be aware of that when looking at the results. Out of 35 votes, 40% or 14 people said yes. 60% or 21 people said no. If you did not receive the extra palette, please get in contact with Lunarskies about this, so that way she has a chance to correct this. A lot of people who I have talked to directly had received the extra palette. For the last part of this video, I want to talk about this tweet Lunarskies sent to me. She said, "Your research seems very one-sided. I had to reach out to you from my side, and all your research seems to be polls. It just seems not factual from my POV." Since you guys have now watched my entire video, you can see just how wrong she is here. My research was not simply polls. I spent over a week researching this story, hours going over all the screenshots people sent me, hours organizing all the information in order of date, hours editing everything together, almost 15 hours by the way, and did a couple polls just to have at the end of my video. I do not take these videos lightly and want to make sure the information I am sharing is factual, and then also sprinkle in my opinion throughout the video when I deem it necessary. My opinions are to help you understand how an outside perspective sees a situation. From what I have seen, I believe you, Lunarskies, handled this launch poorly. You do not communicate well with your customers about issues with their orders. You react badly to criticism, and you seem to not like that I am letting people know about it. The point of videos like these is to provide all the information I have in an organized fashion so people can make up their own minds. It is not my fault you did these things. Take accountability for your actions and do better things.